Welcome back to Love, Life, and Legacy, the podcast dedicated to helping you navigate these hypersexualized times. Now, everybody, this is a very special episode. It was recorded over a few days, and it was my attempt at documenting these European workshops that we've been doing, and moreover, the workshop style that we've been executing through the sub-regional workshops that we did around America. And this is just a continuation thereof here in Europe. Our focus has been more on giving people experience rather than information. The first round of our tours were really about just informing people, letting them know what was going on. But after a while, people felt like they knew, but it wasn't necessarily changing their life at all. So it was not nearly as helpful as it could have been. So we've evolved into creating workshops where we allow them to speak their mind and open up their heart with each other as a way of experiencing what it's like to live in the high noon in the moment. But also it's our estimation, it's our thought, it's our thesis that these people have a much better shot of continuing the conversation that they've already started rather than hearing a bunch of kind of high level information and then trying to sort out what to do with it afterwards, right? It's like, here's a bunch of clues on how to solve your problems. Good luck. Instead, he's in the moment. We're giving them the tools to speak stuff. I know that didn't come out the way that I wanted it to, but it's good enough. And so anyway, it's kind of like a different style of podcast, but I really like it. Let me know what you think. I wanted to give you the feel of what it's like to be in the workshop with us, but I didn't want to bore you or anything. It's around 30 minutes of really amazing content so that you can see what it's like for us, how exhausting it was for us to put this on, but also we get some reflections from different staff as well as some participants. So please enjoy it. I think this is a very unique approach for us. It's more kind of NPR style or this type of stuff. So let us know what you think, and I hope you feel connected to these events through this episode. So enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, so I'm in an interesting hotel room. We're here in Budapest, and Sammy is about to hit the hay. The little guy's tuckered out. He's had a long day, right? And tomorrow morning, we're going to do our big event in Hungary. It's our biggest one so far. We've had some cute events, some really deep events with people, but they were kind of big venues with not that many people in them. And this one's a little venue with way too many people. They're going to be sitting on the ground. Really exciting. Sammy.
So excited.
Buddy, how are you excited?
So excited.
That's Sleepy Sammy. We have Andy here too, who's working. He's working on a spreadsheet right now. It's like 11 o'clock at night. This is the sign of a great man. What are you working on, Andy?
I am making my last efforts to get people to the event next week.
Yeah. So we have an event in a week in Camberg. It's our last event. Tomorrow is our penultimate event. And our last final conclusion is next weekend in Bad Camberg/Camberg, depending on who you talk to. It's forbidden to say. For some people, what's the difference between Camberg and Bad Camberg? Same thing. So confusing. Okay. So in Germany is going to be our last event. And tomorrow I'm going to try to take as many clips as I can of our event so that you guys can get a behind the scenes feel for what it's like to be in a European event. So far they've been kind of spectacular. This new style of event has allowed us to speak less and say more. Thanks, Sammy. Yeah. We let the people speak and figure out what they think, and instead of trying to cram in as much information as possible to try to tell them all the brilliant stuff that we've been figuring out in the field, we minimize our talks and try to give them as many spaces to kind of chat and sort through difficult things that they don't normally talk about and figure out what they think and how they feel. So it's actually more fun. Would you say it's more fun, Sammy?
Yeah, I love it.
What do you like about it?
It's more real. Like, information can be really impactful at times when it's genuinely new and it makes you see things in a way you never thought of before. A conversation is so dynamic, right? And you formulate your own view of things and you're talking about yourself and you're sharing with other people. And that kind of thing, you can join the same workshop 2, 3, 4 times and it's actually different every time because you're changing, your group is changing.
I think Sammy's selling you. Yeah.
For us.
It is less work for us. That's the funny thing they say, right? When the real masters are minimalists. I'm not saying we're masters, but we just decided to stop stressing ourselves out, talking so much, and now somehow the events just got significantly better. So the extent to which we shut up is the extent to which the Hindman Providence will expedite itself. So I will try to remember to take this throughout the weekend and get as many good sound bites as I can. Thank you. All right, it's the morning of the big day. Just got out of the shower. These guys are putting on their socks like champions, like gladiators going into the ring. How are you feeling, Sammy?
Got my hype song on.
What's your hype song?
Twinkle, twinkle.
Sammy, before every event, really does the ABC song with conviction and power to get all of his language down pat. How you doing, Andy?
Doing well.
He's a trooper. He's looking good. He's looking sharp. We don't know what breakfast is, but who needs breakfast, right? We're just going to eat life in the face. We'll continue this. I'm going to do a little NPR narration. It was a Saturday just like any other Saturday, except it was different. Here we are in the venue in Budapest. It's a beautiful building, a loved building, a square building. I'm just walking into the room where we're going to do our event, and this event we have so many people that we can't put in chairs. So we're actually getting them to sit on the ground on these little cool cushions. I feel like America doesn't have cushions like this. We don't know how to sit on the ground. But these cushions are almost better than chairs. And they've decorated, it looks like a constellation here. There's these little lights on the wall. Very cute. God bless women who have these kind of ideas, because all we cared about is like, is there electricity? And then that was enough for us. But then the women were like, how do we make it pretty? So we're here. I'm going to get cracking. There's an energy actually in this building. There's people. It's 7:30. We walked here. And there's already a bunch of people ready to go, making breakfast bright and awake. And usually we're the first ones at the venue. We are not even close. So this is going to be a wild day. Big energy. All right, so it's just before the event. People, it's like there's a real buzz here today. It's interesting. You can hear laughter. But yeah, because of the nature of this particular event, people really who are coming that I hear that I met really wanted to come, that they drove. Just met some people from Croatia who drove 4 hours. There's people from Poland who came all over. And so there's like an intentionality and there's a buzz, there's an energy here. And I'm genuinely kind of nervous. Not like nervous, but I can feel that there's something in the air and it's special. It's not so casual. So really looking forward to it. And here comes Sammy. Are you excited about today, buddy?
Yeah, it's actually getting really exciting. People are coming in, there's good energy, and it's exhilarating. It's like every time just seeing the people in person and just hearing the little details about what it took for them to come. People woke up super early and drove here 3-4 hours. Some people came last night. People took off work. People needed to find a driver. It's like a lot. And even I just talked to the Croatia sisters, and they were on the wait list. They registered a little last minute, and they were on the wait list for a while, and in the end they could come. And then so they're really excited to be here, but then they had to scramble to find who can drive them. So one of their dads just volunteered to do it. So he's here now also, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it seems like something happened in Europe where they got all the height. And so I'm actually the shortest person in like within a mile radius. I think that I saw somebody on the way here who didn't have any legs, and I was marginally taller than them, but everybody else so tall here. It's very interesting. Or they're normal and I'm so tiny. I'm a hobbit in Europe. I really feel like a hobbit, minus the feet. So anyway, we're about to get into it. People are filtering in. Wish us luck, everybody. Wish us luck. Hey, don't get too close, guys. Chill. We're in public. So we're going to talk about this, guys. We're going to talk about ownership. So what does it mean to be the owner of your sexuality? How does this concept of ownership of our sexuality deviate from what our culture teaches us? So I'm here with Sebastian, who just gave his testimony again for the 3rd time. Sebastian, how was it this time? And like, as you give your testimony, does it get easier to talk about personal stuff in front of strangers, or is it more complicated because you're remembering more?
Well, actually, it becomes much more easier, and because I feel more comfortable in front of everyone, there are so many details that emerge in my mind that I knew I wanted to say the first times, but I always was, disappointed in myself that I didn't remember them. But now it was much better, so much so that I was wondering if I was totally over time, but apparently no one cut me off, so I think I was good.
You did perfectly. So when you're talking and you're refining this testimony, that's like your life story, do you feel like the more that you talk about it, you can re-experience those emotions again and again, or does it more like go into trying to remember it and it comes from your head or from your heart?
Well, when I prepared for this talk, I was very emotional, and I really felt what I was sharing there. I felt it really deeply. The more I do it, the more therapeutically I realize that I'm looking from it as an observer, and I'm not so much involved in what I'm saying, because it's for me now more comfortable and more important to convey the message and not to be stuck emotionally in the words that I say. In the beginning it was more difficult for me to share that because the emotions came up, which I guess is not a bad thing, but I find it more easily now to share the message and just say the words without having those emotions coming with them.
So when you go through a testimony like that and you felt the emotions really strongly, you said, like when you first started giving it, does it mean that you've worked through something if you don't feel it again because you've kind of worked it out of you? Or is it, because I've seen people give testimonies and they kind of cry deeply every time. Is that because they actually haven't worked through the thing? Because that's very possible. But like in your experience, it sounds like you've kind of let those emotions come up and get out, and now they're just not there when you present this information.
Well, that's a fantastic question. I believe there are many layers, like the onion layers, and once you work through one layer and it seems fine, then you get to a deeper layer. And I guess it's depending on how severe it is what you're talking about, the more often you will get deep into those emotions, and perhaps you will experience them many times back to back. But in my case, because I'm in between my testimony, I'm sharing a little bit about theoretical things, it's easy for me to get out of the emotional state as well. So I think it also depends if I would share full-heartedly only about my feelings and struggles and needs and sadness, then it would be very hard for me to keep it together. And perhaps that was what you experienced with the other talk.
You went from kind of being a part of us tangentially to like being in the thick of high noon. How's that been, that transition of like just throwing you out into the deep end and kind of revealing your soul in front of a bunch of people at our workshop?
Well, before, just being a facilitator was an amazing experience and a big privilege and a big growing experience. But since my wife was invited to High Noon to give a talk about shame, she always envisioned both of us to be involved publicly and to speak about our individual paths, and I thought it was a good opportunity for me to step out of my comfort zone and to contribute to something that is near and dear to my heart, and that actually, because someone else did the work before me, I was able to meet my wife, Daria, who understands me much better because she heard someone else talk about this topic as well. So I feel it's in a way my obligation to do the same thing and talk about this.
It's really cool. And did you feel like you were out of your depth at all, or was it just like you knew why you were doing it and you just jumped in and it was okay? Because sometimes we invite people and we don't know the struggle. We only hear after like how much of a difficult time it was to go from not talking about their own personal history and then talking about it in front of larger groups.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, and in the beginning I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, but I thought, this is the once-in-a-lifetime experience for me. At least it felt like it. I don't know, I was nervous, but at the same time, I'm nervous in many situations in my life, and those are much less important to others and to myself. It means much less. So I felt like, why not this situation? Why not use this build-up and stress and anxiety to create something that could help others? Because I usually don't use my stress and anxiety to help others.
Yeah, most of us don't. We just use it to kill ourselves, right? That's great. Are you a real high nooner now? Do you feel it?
Yeah, totally. I'm part of the team, yeah.
He's in. We already initiated him. We did the whole cloak ceremony with the paddles and everything, so he's in. Blood brothers, right?
Yes, 100%, yeah.
All right, thanks, Sebastian.
Thanks, Andrew.
be with you. I hope to connect with you throughout this very short time that we have, today, tomorrow, and we're here to be with you, not just to talk to you guys. So if you want to say hi, feel free. So again, I'm Sammy. I'm originally from America, and then my wife and I were blessed in 2009, and at some point we moved to Korea.
Beautiful. Please have a seat.
So right now everybody's very pensive and they're thinking about two questions. What are you most proud of in your life? What are you most ashamed of in your life? And I'm whispering because everybody's supposed to be reflecting. I know, my whispers are very loud right now. I hope you can hear. But what's crazy is that's Sammy coughing. This is how we end our Saturdays, is people kind of going deep about some of the most shameful things that they've experienced in their life, and in many cases it's the first time they're kind of releasing this stuff, and it's extremely cathartic. And it's amazing how many people want to divulge their innermost selves but haven't had a place until these workshops. So they're kind of getting ready for that, and then we're going to split off into groups. Apparently the guys are all going to go outside because we got kicked out. There's not enough space inside, so yeah, I'll let you know how that goes. It's the morning after the chaos, and we just waking up, and last night we walked home after a long day, and it was like a success, I would say. Sammy, what do you think? Well, yesterday.
Success.
He said success, like a man clenching his jaw and taking a poop. What about Andy? Well, how was yesterday?
It was good. It was a success. Very busy.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it was exhausting. Either we're getting older or we're going into a new dimension within the quantum field where we're healing deeper things, just like Ant-Man, and we're resolving them, and it's exhausting. We could have easily just run a marathon yesterday with how tired I was, but we're ready to fight again. Right, guys? You ready to fight again?
Getting there.
We just need pasta and push-ups. Yeah, today we're going to be talking with the parents. Half of us, we're going to divide because our team is big. So we're going to divide and conquer. We're going to have Sammy, myself, and Andy. Are you coming with us?
No, I'm with the youth.
Ah, you traitor. So Sammy and myself and Sebastian, I think, are going to go talk to the parents. Daria and Andy are going to head towards youth service because it's Sunday morning. And we have like over 30 parents. Some of them are coming from far, some of them are locals, to talk about sex. And what's interesting about that work is how little a lot of them know, and that watching them process this information. Imagine you don't know anything about what your kid watches online. Imagine you're a woman in your mid-50s and you've never seen porn. Maybe you've seen images and you're like, oh yeah, a naked woman, that's porn. But you have no idea about the violence, and especially about the fact that there's a growing number of young people just putting themselves, making their own porn online. So this is my job today, to tell them that, but to also not make them freak out by hugging them the entire time we're talking. So that's what Sammy's job is today, is to go around one by one and hug all the ladies, especially while I'm talking. He can hug the dads too, yeah. He's gonna just sit on their lap. He's gonna go around like 5 minutes each and just hug them. So
Yeah, we can do it. 130 people.
we got this. So we're gonna go today. I'll get some good clips today. And yeah, so Sammy's waking up. I'm really shocked by how tired I am. I don't know, are you guys really tired, or just because it's 6:30 in the morning tired?
6:30 in the morning. I think I'll do some coffee. I'll be okay.
Yes, the power of coffee. Incidentally, we went to a place called Guns and Coffee the other day. It was pretty amazing. You can buy a gun and a coffee at the same time. God bless America within Hungary. They picked up on the American spirit.
I'll give you the microphone, and you can share with us what you got from the weekend. Maybe what your burning question was, what answer you got. And this is a chance to, this is the very last thing. We'll give a chance to a few people and let everyone hear from you.
That really was a good experience to talk with people and open up to them. And I really like this concept of like having a vision in your life.
I could get to know like the real feelings of second generation and the challenges they face, and also I received so much love and care from the staff and the speakers, everyone that was here. So
I didn't really know what to expect. I was just going because, well, how could I not? But I guess it was very good in the beginning to set some like questions that I want answered. I had even like unrelated questions really to High Noon, but I thought lots of good spirit will be here. And I used the time really well here, and I could have like very meaningful conversations with some people. And I didn't get answers to my questions, but I got direction and I got tools, and I think that was very valuable.
But the lectures were, I think they gave answers to questions I didn't even know I had. So, like, I obviously feel like I'm leaving with more than I came with. And there are a lot of things that I would love to implement in my everyday life. Like, I really hope that this motivation is gonna last more than a few days.
Probably not.
We'll see.
All right, so it's the day after the event. This is Monday. I'm sitting in a place called the City Park here in Budapest. It's right in the middle. It's, I think, the nicest park I've ever been to in my whole life, to be honest. No exaggeration. And I'm sitting right in front of the exercise area where there's a bunch of things to pull yourself up on and push yourself up of. That's a hard thing to say. But like chin-ups, push-ups, dips, all that. Some good, strong folks around here. Close to basketball. The birds are chirping. It's a beautiful day. But yeah, we just had our event here in Hungary, which was so far our biggest event here during this tour, because we've had bigger events in Europe, but those were like whole family events. This is just young adults, and some people drove many hours from different countries. There was a couple there that came from Romania, a 16-hour train ride to come to this event. It was quite amazing, actually. And so the spirit was interesting because it felt long, 2 days. It's a long time to ask people to sit down and ingest a ton of information. But they also had so many conversations. They got to go outside and have fun as well. Somehow ice cream ended up joining us and being consumed. But some stuff we realized is, this is really, Heinen's headed in the right direction, because it's not just talking, it's not just lectures. The first time we came to Europe, we just talked, and we didn't really give a lot of space for them to practice what we were talking about. We just gave them a lot of information, which was useful information, in the hopes that they would go home and continue this conversation. But it's kind of a lot to ask. So instead, these events are so rewarding because we're giving them the information and then they can practice it right there and then. Sharing their kind of fears or their shame, or also their hopes and their dreams, and supporting each other, you know? It's like the most natural thing that most of us are not doing. So all in all, it ended up being like a really, really deep and amazing time. My voice was really cool. I woke up this morning and I had like a Barry White voice. I could have sung R&B like, "Hey girl, I love you so much." It's coming back. My kind of weenie voice is coming back. But this morning I woke up a man because it was a long weekend of a whole lot of talking. I was exhausted for some reason. And now I'm just kind of sitting on a bench. People staring at me because I'm speaking into a microphone. They think I'm from the future, I think. And just feeling really good about life, because nothing gets resolved in a weekend workshop, but things get started. Fires get started, and that's what we're trying to do, is light a fire in people's hearts and in families, in couples, so that we can all do the work that we need to do in order to heal our international community, our family, our Holy Spirit, Heavenly Holy Community, Heavenly Holy Federation, Holy Heavenly. And when we do that, things will get real juicy, trust me. And so if you're listening to this, and if you came to any of our events over the past little while, please know that if you felt that spark can easily turn into a fire anytime you feed it time and attention. It can easily turn into something really powerful that can then influence somebody else, and this fire needs to spread and turn into a raging inferno of change, melting away the fat, the laziness, the apathy, the disconnection, all the stuff that's preventing us from actually enjoying this life. Instead, wasting our time and energy on comparing ourselves, or wishing we could be somebody else, or wishing we could have something that we don't have, and just misusing our creativity to find ways to hate each other instead of finding ways to just be grateful for what we have and spreading that, and finding ways in which to reach deeper areas of fulfillment in our mind and in our hearts. So that's the work that we're doing. It's been so nice. We just have one more event next weekend in Camberg, and I hope it can be the climax. But so far, it's been a really wonderful experience for us and for the participants that we've been talking to. I'm sure we're not batting 100%. There has to be some dissatisfied customers somewhere, but we haven't heard from them just yet. So yeah, thank you for joining us on this journey. This was the Budapest weekend. It was just like a slice of what we contend with. I didn't include some of the gross stuff that happened, like not me, but somebody on the team had bug issues last night and had to run to the bathroom. I had some crazy heartburn issues when I first got here. I think it's just traveling to new places, drinking the water, all sorts of stuff. So I didn't get into those gory details, but the result is pretty wonderful. And any little sacrifice, like not feeling so healthy or whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, I will see you in another episode. Peace.